Krishnan of TiE Detroit and MIIndia.com, and I have with me Steve Tobocman. And Steve has been the director of Global Detroit, and he is the former state rep and the former majority leader of the Michigan House of Reps. So welcome, Steve.
Thanks for having me, Anu.
Great. So Steve, let's start off. I know you have a lot of work that you're doing with Global Detroit.
Absolutely.
And I know you're a core part of TiECon Midwest. So talk to me about Global Midwest panel.
Sure. So the Global Midwest panel is very exciting because it's the first time that Global Detroit, which is an emerging initiative right now here in the Detroit metro area, is going to be joined together on stage with Global Pittsburgh and Global Cleveland. And all three efforts represent entrepreneurial initiatives focused on the international community and their contributions within our metro areas. And so all three cities have gone through tremendous economic upheaval as their manufacturing bases have eroded, and they've had to look towards new economic opportunities. And certainly we've seen Pittsburgh been able to begin its turnaround, looking at the IT sectors and engineering sectors and injecting entrepreneurialism into its culture. And it's our hope that Detroit and Cleveland can follow that lead. And so to have this discussion in the sea of entrepreneurialism that TiECon Midwest represents is a really historic opportunity that we're very excited about.
Oh, that's great. Now, with the economy being the way it is today, what does it mean to you, especially when you're in the forefront of the, building the economy? What does it mean to you in terms of entrepreneurship and innovation for the whole entrepreneurial system here that's happening in the Detroit
Absolutely.
area?
Well, if you look at one of the metrics for the Detroit region is that, frankly, we're not starting a lot of businesses per capita that other areas are. And one of the focuses of these three global initiatives, Global Detroit, Global Cleveland, Global Pittsburgh, is that the immigrant community, the foreign-born community, have been starting businesses at a much faster rate. So according to the Kaufman Index of Entrepreneurship, you're 1.89 times as likely to start a business if you were born abroad than if you were born here in the United States. And in addition to that, if you look at who makes up the foreign-born and international community in metropolitan Detroit, you find a very different picture than what the media would portray.
Really?
So here in Metro Detroit, 38% of the population born abroad has a four-year college degree or more, compared to 23.7% of the non-immigrant community, meaning that you're 150% more likely.
Wow.
Within various ethnic groups, for example, Indian Americans, over 70% college-educated group here in the United States. And you look at that not only in terms of their education, but the types of degrees that they have. And right now, among the 23,500 international students at Michigan colleges and universities, 38% of them, more than a third, are majoring in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, which are key drivers of the new economy and key fields for entrepreneurs to consider as they compete across the globe. Only 13% of the national average is majoring in those fields, so we're three times as likely to major in those fields. Finally, the research that we've done at Global Detroit shows that in this state, in Michigan, immigrants have started three times the number of businesses of their rate of population. So 15% of all the businesses from 1995 through 2005 in Michigan were started by immigrant entrepreneurs. And we know that a full third, 32.8% of all the high-tech businesses in Michigan started between 1995 and 2006 were started by foreign-born individuals. That ranks Michigan third in the country. So we, by being at TiECon Midwest, bringing Global Detroit with our partners at Global Pittsburgh and Cleveland, we're really pointing out that here in the Midwest, entrepreneurship and immigration go hand in hand, and that in fact having immigrant welcoming and attraction strategies can be the hyperlink to and the fast track to creating the kind of entrepreneurial society that we need to create jobs here in Michigan, where we've suffered for so long.
Now, those are mind-boggling stats. Now, I have to really seriously. I mean, those numbers are just very interesting, and I'm hoping that TiECon Midwest is going to provide that kind of impetus, for you to grow and to build those numbers. You
Absolutely.
know? And so tell us about your agenda for TiECon Midwest. What is, I mean, I know you're heading the panel for Global Midwest. What are you going to get out of it, and what do you anticipate doing?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things is, again, to bring these different Midwestern regions together, to take our regional initiatives and make them, tie them together, no pun intended, across the entire Great Lakes region. And so by collaborating across different cities, we think that we can really improve the product that we're offering, and that it's that and that thought process of entrepreneurship about what's possible and how we can work together and looking at each other's ideas and taking the best ideas and implementing them. The second goal would be for us is to connect with the entrepreneurship community, the entrepreneurial community, as well as the foreign-born community. So a lot of times I think within TiE membership, within the entrepreneur membership, you know, the one's national origin or their status or their integration into the culture has kind of been an issue that is either been put in the back burner or been something to be avoided, that, you know, the knowledge and language of business and academics and entrepreneurship sort of overcomes. But we actually think it's a language and a status to be embraced, and that this is the beginning of changing the conversation for America and the globe. That really we in Detroit and those in Cleveland and those in Pittsburgh truly want to be the most welcoming communities to entrepreneurs, to the international community, to scientists, to capitalists, to all the things that create jobs and economic growth, which are so important in the daily lives of even those who are not going to be entrepreneurs.
That's neat. Now, Steve, tell me that what's your perspective on TiECon Midwest? I know you've been you've attended TiECon Midwest last year.
This will actually be my first TiECon convention, so I'm
really?
extremely
Okay, so,
excited. But I've been to several Detroit TiE monthly meetings, and you know, frankly, there's nothing else in the region like it. So the kind of energy and diversity within the crowd at a TiE conference, speaking, I've spoken at some membership meetings, and the kind of networking that comes after the events, and people seek you out, and the opportunities that have been created are really, I haven't found anything like it in our region. And so I think the opportunities to have that not only with the entrepreneurs here in Southeast Michigan, but those across the entire Midwest is a unique opportunity that I'm very much looking forward to, and I'm hoping that we create these permanent bonds between the efforts of Global Detroit, Global Cleveland, Global Pittsburgh, and really kind of this pro-immigrant, pro-entrepreneurship thought that is going across this country, that has been endorsed by our Great Lakes regional chambers, have put changing our high-skilled immigration laws, and that becomes the conversation for growth and development, and that for those entrepreneurs who are already deeply rooted and have an international background, that they look at their international status as something to be embraced and celebrated, as opposed to something that they have to look at as a barrier to overcome.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. And I'm sure there are a lot of discussions, healthy discussions that are going to follow. So that was Steve Tobocman, and he is the director of Global Detroit. Do not go away, because you're going to meet him again, and that's going to be on October 28th and 29th. Again, mark your calendars. October 28th and 29th, the biggest forum for entrepreneurs in the Midwest region. That's TiECon Midwest 2010. You can visit us on our website, www.tieconmidwest.org. Steve and a lot of other policymakers and decision makers are going to be talking about all the trends, all the events that are happening, that's happening to build the economy in Michigan. So do not miss, again, TiECon Midwest 2010. This is Anu Gopalakrishnan for TiE Detroit and MINdia.com signing off.